For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. This brush, issued to me by the military 12 years ago, still reminds me of the value of discipline. It literally pushed me, pun intended, to rise up and grasp this forgotten art of accomplishment. The key to passing boot camp is in this brush, and we did not realize it. If you pay attention and apply yourself, you can accomplish anything in life, but it won't just be by motivation, and it won't be by determination. Although those things are needed, they're more like the ship and not the rudder. Discipline is what will carry you to accomplishing your dreams. Discipline should be exercised just like a muscle. You should be doing reps of discipline. You should be finding a way, and no one does this anymore. And that's the thing. Imagine if you could. Imagine if you could be the best version of yourself. I saw the benefits of removing sugar, removing alcohol, removing things that were holding me back, and just plugging into the goal and extracting from that goal nothing but the good, only the vision, and just deleting all the fluff, all the excuses, all the impossibilities. They were gone. They didn't matter. If I failed, I learned from it and got back up. In 2011, I joined the military, and that was the United States Marine Corps. So from a very young age, I actually had a huge respect to discipline. I was drawn towards discipline. Now, I didn't always practice them. I have to admit, I was lazy. I was disorganized. I was the pudgy little late blooming kid that no one wanted on their sports team. But I was always attracted to movies like the Jason Bourne movies, Hitman, Bruce Lee, stories where an unlikely underdog or someone that had been specifically trained had devoted their life to a discipline, to a practice, and was able to craft it in such a way that through failure, through pain, through hardship, they were able to rise up and be something great. They were able to achieve what was, I consider, superhuman by attainable methods. Through hard work, determination, impossible training over and over and over. Every time they fell, they got back up and they got back up, and they were able to filter through the mistakes and take the positive and delete the negative and try again and again and again. And that always gave me hope, because I'm 6'4" and I was 80 pounds overweight before I joined the military. And I had to dig deep. I had to find not only determination and motivation, but I had to find discipline, the discipline to wait months and to lose 80 pounds before I went into the military. Being attracted to this, I, of course, wanted to join the military, serve my country, was looking for different branches. I was overweight for the Army, for the Navy. I talked to all the branches before I joined, but I was not even going to consider the Marine Corps, because there was no way by Marine Corps standards. It was the greatest, it was the hardest, and there's no way I was going to qualify for something so elite. But after stopping in and talking to a Marine recruiter just to get an idea of what jobs were available and what those options might be, he convinced me on how elite they were and how it was everything I'd ever dreamed of. Difficulty and working hard, unit cohesion, the pride that Marines took by claiming the title that they earned it was not given, and that they were a brotherhood for life and the baddest gun club on the planet, and all of these other things that made me really want to join. He didn't convince me or paint me a rose garden. In fact, he told me that it was going to be very difficult. I began to come to the Marine Corps workouts that took place twice a week. I began eating very clean and very healthy. I was driven and determined to make it, to prove to myself that I could rise up and do something great with my life. I knew that it would give me the foundation and catapult me into anything I wanted to accomplish. And man, that was so true. I went to Paris Island because I was on the East Coast, and I remember getting there very late at night, and the bus driver pulled up to the gate. The gate guard checked us in, and he told us all to put our heads down, preventing us from realizing where we were and how to escape the base. My heart was pounding. As you can imagine, it was absolutely terrifying, but getting there, falling immediately into the yellow footsteps that make up the Marine Corps, where every recruit goes in order to go through the gauntlet and pass through the same doors in order to become a United States Marine. It was chaotic, to say the least. And of course, that was my perception, because I couldn't see the full picture yet. I couldn't see what everything issued to me, and everything that all the tests, trials, mental games, they were all part of the process. They were all part of the breaking down process and passing us through our conveniences, our comforts, our entitlement, even our name. When we got there, we couldn't even call ourselves me, mine, or anything other than this recruit, those recruits. They broke down our identity completely and built back up in its place a Marine. They issued us all kinds of things, from batteries to shaving razors to marking tape to go fasters or tennis shoes, several different uniforms, boots. They shaved our hair, they gave us dog tags. But one item I did not expect for us to put into our bag, and that was this little scuzz brush, as they called it. And I figured we'd be cleaning something, it's gonna be for cleaning, but I had no idea how this little brush and all of its practical application would really shape the key and secret to passing the Marine Corps. Like, the key to passing boot camp was in this brush, and we did not realize it. Now, right away when we got issued and there was something to clean up our boots, if they had mud on them, buttstocks of our rifles, really its daily application was a squad bay, because we had, I think, 80 to 100 recruits that were in my platoon. And we were in and out of the woods, in and out of the mud. We were coming in the squad bay and out of the squad bay in different boots, tennis shoes, sand pits, all kinds of fun places. And so you can imagine how dirty the squad bay got and how that would not stand in the Marine Corps. So we constantly had to clean under our racks, in between our racks. And once, actually, every night we stood on the back squad bay wall. So there's two different sides of the squad bay. So both groups of Marines on either side of the squad bay would go to the bulkhead or the wall, and they would squat down. We had to squat down in a duck walk, and we had to push our little 7.5-inch contribution forward. All of us staying on line, staying together without our knees touching the ground. Drill instructor screaming at us the whole time. I broke my knee about a year ago. I can't do that anymore. Our legs were burning like crazy, but we swept that dirt into the center, where two other Marines would run and grab push brooms, and they would stand on either end, push it to the center. And then, of course, the Marines that were in proximity to the center would sweep it into the dustpan. But we did that once every night, or even I think we did it sometimes in the morning. Sometimes we did it twice daily. And that was difficult. That took a lot of self-discipline to be able to stay in the duck walk, to be able to stay low. It was making little progress, but it was progress. That little window of hope mixed with the discipline, determination of the goal when there wasn't an option to not do it, that is what got us through. That is what kept us pushing through. We also used these whenever it was time to wash the floors, got on the ground and scrubbed with bleach and water. And that's kind of what kept them nice and pearly white. I used to have my name, Connor, written on the front in Sharpie. And that was really something, in the Marine Corps, seeing your last name on your name tapes or on all of your equipment, it also helps bring you through because you're seeing your family name. This wasn't the only thing that the Marine Corps used to instill discipline. Really, every tool that we were issued, everything that we did had an aspect of discipline. And I mean, down to like shouting, and when you get to boot camp, the yelling and the "aye sir," "yes sir," as loud as you can. You don't think that your voice can hurt and ache, but immediately people were losing their voices. We were forced to do everything with speed and intensity. And it was funny, our drill instructors always said, there's no idle moment at recruit training, at boot camp. We're either going to get smarter or we're going to get stronger. So if you didn't know your stuff, if you couldn't give the knowledge and whatever was asked of you, then you were going to get stronger by push-ups, running in place. This was all done on the quarterdeck in the squad bay or in sand flea-ridden sand pits all over base. And everything had a purpose. The way that we held our water bottles was the same way we held the butt stocks of our rifles as we were marching. And, while we're down low, scuzzing the floor, we're learning how to keep low in battle, and we're exercising our leg muscles, and we're fighting through the difficulty of pain to accomplish a goal. And man, like, those gold nuggets were not evident to me for a long time. Working really hard towards a goal that seems useless to everyone else. Everyone else thought if I were to give you this brush right now and tell you, hey, this is what you're going to clean your house with, you would think I was crazy. There's a more efficient way. I can get a bigger brush, a bigger broom. And what's funny about that is that this brush definitely made me appreciate my chores when I was younger. I remember my dad used to have me always sweep out the garage with this big broom, and I complained, oh, the garage is so big, this takes forever. I want to go do this, that, and the other. But now that I was literally squatting down, legs burning, pushing this and cleaning the floor with this, I would have given anything for that broom. And that's the point. It made me appreciate the abundance and conveniences of this life. I think we have this false sense of freedom and regulation, this lack of regulation. So I agree wholeheartedly. We should have the freedom to a life of liberty, pursuit of happiness, all about it, America. Could not agree more. But just because you should have something and the right to something doesn't mean that you let it control you. It doesn't mean that you have so much, you don't regulate it, you don't organize it, you don't control it, you don't moderate the intake and the performance. That is where we're missing the mark. Yes, have the freedom to do whatever you want, to eat whatever you want, but taking it in uncontrolled just because you can, that's a way for aimlessness, boredom, and eventually depression and lack of meaning, because it's just everything all at once, all the time. And if you just exercise the freedom of doing whatever you want, whenever you want it, that's a problem. Everything is drive-thrus, everything is convenience, everything is prime shipping, everything. And there's nothing wrong with conveniences that make our life more efficient. I'm not bashing on any of that. I'm not saying you just have to go to a simpler way of living. Although if you take value in a simpler way of living, then you will live a more joyful life. Because when you have abundance, when you have equipment, when you have tools, when you have means, when you have money, but you're okay to just enjoy a walk in the forest or around the lake at your local park, or take out your dog for a walk, or enjoy simple foods, that's when you get the abundances and you regulate it. I am very blessed that I was gifted the gift of discipline. Many years I did not see it. You can't see it sometimes. It looks like inconvenience. Marines around me, oh, this is the suck. This is them messing with us. This is hardship. Can't wait till this is over. And that's what happens in life too. I can't wait until this trial is over. I can't wait till I get done with this project, this homework, this work assignment. And like, we have ourselves fooled that there's going to be an end to it, like that another hardship isn't right around the corner. I remember that even in the Marine Corps, because it was like we were training for some big inspection, or we were training to go to the field, or we were training to test, whether it be the Marine Corps martial arts program or working on some certification. And it was like, if I could just get past this inspection, if I can just get past this field op, if I can just get past this one thing, and that's the same at work. If I can just get through this meeting, if I can just get through this training we have to do, then life will be better. If I can just get to the weekend, if I can just get through the day, if it'll just be 5 o'clock. We have this false sense of relief, but the storms of life are going to continue to come. The trials are going to continue to come. If you're living life, then you're going to have to engage with it. You're going to have to battle it. And so the question shouldn't be, how can I have an easier, carefree life that's not challenged and there's no hardships and I can just relax? That should not be the quest. The quest should be, how can I train myself to be more equipped for the hardships of life, both with knowledge, with physical strength, with mental strength, and a determination backed by discipline in order to accomplish my goals, my dreams. And the struggle, the failures, they're part of life. They're part of the meaningful aspect of life. There's meaningfulness, there's happiness, there's joy in the journey, in the path. It's not just at the top of the mountain. Sure, that's fantastic, but the top of the mountain is amazing because of the climb up there. When you can look down and see what you've accomplished, what you've learned, man, those paths that were better, that if you have to climb this mountain again, you're going to take next time because you learn from the first climb or the second or third time rolling down the hill, right? I wish, if you're watching this and you're in the military, or if you're watching this and you just think your life sucks and all these hardships and difficulty in school and tests and college and, workplace, if you think that all of that doesn't have a purpose, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the thing. Like, here's the amazing thing. What if it doesn't have a purpose? Let's say it doesn't. Let's say it's just mindless, boring, useless in your estimation, information or tasks or tests. It's not actually useless. If it's difficult and it's challenging you in some way, then that is something you can say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I remember working my first job as a bag boy and sweeping the floors in the grocery store, or cleaning the bathrooms, or, janitorially, as a bag boy, you had to do that in rotations, getting carts out of the parking lot. You think to yourself, this is such a waste of time. I don't want to be a bag boy for life. But guess what? It was telling me I didn't want to be a bag boy for life. It told me I didn't want to be a janitor. And when I did it, and I did it thoroughly, and I did it to the best of my ability, and I did it with detail, and I tried to be charactered about it, and I tried to do it as I was taught to do it, everything unto the Lord, and to do it correctly and properly. People noticed that. People, and sometimes that was bad, right? Because they wanted me to clean it next time. But if you have the mental discipline in order to do the difficult, mundane things that you deem to be a waste of time, if you will just lean into them and do them to the best of your ability, you are adding and fortifying yourself, your mental strength, your character, your ability to do that which is difficult. Other people are going to turn up their nose. Other people are going to say, oh, I would never do that. Oh, I can't believe, oh, you couldn't pay me enough to do that. But what if you did? What if you did it? Then you're somebody that is standing out, standing alone from the crowd, standing alone from the path of least resistance. You are plowing a new path. You are adding to your mental toughness. So it's not a waste of time. The next task that, let's say, everyone would love to do, the job that everyone would love to do, once you do the difficult things that no one wants to do, guess what? You're going to find the thing that you do want to do, the idle dream job that everyone is fighting for. You're going to find it quicker. And you're going to retain it because you have character, because you've scrubbed the floors and the toilets and things of that nature. When other people said no to tasks and projects, you said yes. You took them. You worked hard at them. You built your mental toughness. And now you're at a place that you are maybe getting paid more than you do because you used to do more than you got paid for. And that is huge. That is massive. And again, it takes discipline. It takes the end game. It takes the broad picture, not just the here and now, not just the let me look at myself in the mirror after my first, second, third, 10th time in the gym. No, it's multiple visits. It's multiple times. It's consistency. It's habits. It's a plan. It's tracking. And sometimes it's just doing the tough thing and saying, oh, this is really tough. Smile at it and run into it. And not in an arrogant way. A lot of people push the, go hard and just lean into misery and all of that. And look, I can do that. I've done that. But I think if you really analyze it and break it down and try to learn from it, and not just white knuckle it all the time, I guess there's a time and place for that. But if you have a conscious decision to do these things and to learn from them, what did I learn from that? What if I did the hard thing that nobody wants to do? What if I did? What would I become after that? Well, nothing at first, but a series of doing that, you're just going to be more equipped to take on challenges in life because they're there. Challenges are going to pop up. So your problem solving skills get better and you become more valuable to everybody around you because you've been in worse situations. So this is easy. It's like running with weights on. But it's those who don't find and identify what the discipline is and just think it was unfair treatment. It was people messing with us. It was a hard way of living that they just screwed with us, And yeah, of course that exists in the military. It exists everywhere. But it's more than just this big waste of time and this difficult way of living that I now get to break free from and do whatever I want, eat whatever I want, drink whatever I want, sleep into whatever I want, not work out when I don't want. All of these things that, and I was guilty of that as a veteran as well, falling into that. Man, civilian life, I get to just relax now. And that is not it. That is not the point. It's taking those lessons and actually applying them, actually learning from them and watching what your life will do. I promise you will get ahead of 99% of the people out there. If you're willing to do the hard things, if you're willing to give them 100% of your effort and be the best version of yourself, educate yourself, strengthen your mental toughness, do the disciplined repetitions, man, you will find a meaningful life, one that has purpose, one that has vision, one that allows you to accomplish anything that you want. It's just a matter of time. It really is. If it's possible, if someone else has done it, you can do it. And the way to get there is discipline, determination, goal identification, mental imaging, positive mindset, having a clear vision of your goal, repeating your goal, finding a practical way to get there, and just having forward momentum, diving into it. Don't wait. There's no need to wait. Go ahead and get out there and make the mistakes, learn from it, and you will find it. Seek and you will find it. The mental strength from discipline is one of the best benefits because you will then be able to really do anything. There will be no limitation to what you can accomplish over a period of calculated and motivated, planned out. Failure as not an option. All you need is the discipline to get you there. And if you have a goal and you think to yourself, oh, well, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. I don't have those skills. I don't have that learning. I don't know a way through. But forward motion is the key. Determination is the key. And denying yourself the comforts and conveniences and teaching yourself discipline. It might take you to have a brush of sorts. It might take you a way to eliminate something. My goal on how to do this would be to start with 30-day discipline programs. That's what I like to run. I currently am on a carnivore program where I'm deleting everything else out of my diet. I'm not eating any sugar. I'm not drinking anything but water. I've cut out all bread, all starches, all carbs of any sort, and I'm enjoying it. I've lost 20 pounds. I feel really great, and it has given me, again, some more repetitions of discipline. When you focus harder and you aim smaller on a particular object, then the overall difficult thing that you're trying to accomplish becomes easier, more palatable. It's crazy how conditioned we get, how easy we forget how good we have it. Maybe you know people in your life that have so much and they're complaining about stupid things. They're complaining and whining about things, and you think, oh man, I would never do that. But when's the last time you celebrated the little things that you are blessed with? When's the last time you counted your blessings? Because I promise your blessings, what you have, what you've achieved, what you're able to do freely just by living in the United States, just by having clean water to drink and food and a roof over your head, the things that we take for granted on a daily basis would be living like a king to other folks. What can you do with little? What can you do that's difficult that will make you appreciate the things that you take for granted all the time? And it sounds crazy and a waste of time. And maybe you're thinking, like, why would I exercise that? Why would I go out of my way to make my life less optimal or more inconvenient or to take longer to do a task? But I promise it's worth the mental exercise. We don't get enough mental exercise. We don't get enough mental training and discipline repetitions. And when you find that, when you can do that, when you can actually take something away and say, no, I'm in control, I'm going to regulate me now, you will have more freedom than ever. Things will be amazing. Everything will be amazing. You will live in a state of gratefulness. You will watch others that are complaining about the things that they have and the abundance that they have, and you will be taking joy and comfort in the small things. And if you direct it towards your goals, maybe your goals are to, like me, to lose weight, to get in great shape, to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be more faithful in my quest to be a better man and to be better with money, to build wealth and to build a reputation and to build character. If those are your goals and your quests, and you have the discipline and the patience, and you're making progressive movements forward, the compounding effect of that year over year is incredible. If you look at it day per day, oh, it's just a small little task. I didn't eat sugar today. I went for a walk with my dog. I got up an hour earlier and got this done for work or for my side hustle. Going to the gym, working out one day, are you going to see a difference? No, but it's a constant chipping away. It's a constant habitual practice that is going to lock into your mind for success. And the more you do something, the more you practice that habit, the easier it becomes and the more routine it becomes. And it becomes part of your identity and who you are. And like, if you're just constantly improving that, why isn't more people doing this? Why aren't more people taking time to read books? And I'm speaking to myself, like, I really came to this realization a couple years ago, like, why we're all so distracted with sports and entertainment and video games and conveniences and money and social media and all of these things, as I've been guilty of indulging in all of those things, wanting to forget. But what if we spent more time in wanting to get rid of the hard things and learned more about how to deal with them, educated ourselves with books and YouTube and free tutorials on how to get better at a particular topic, a particular weakness that we have painted red and identified in our lives? What good could we do? What good for our kids and our family? You get to be the superhero of the story. It's not puffing yourself up. It's not comparing yourself to anyone. It's not saying I'm better than you, because I'm a miserable failure. I have failed in my life. I have made bad decisions and I have come out of them wiser. I've come out of them wiser after repeating them sometimes, but we shouldn't. We should be learning from our mistakes, and we should be striving to be the best that we can possibly be. And if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to take that first step, it's a small step. You don't want to aim so high that you can't hit it, you can't attain it. That's too difficult. Oh, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to get cold showers. I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to stop drinking, and I'm going to start running every single day or working out every single day. That's a lot, right? If you can do it, more power to you. But I recommend taking small steps. I'm going to cut this out for 30 days, or maybe instead of having a pack of cigarettes per day, I'm going to have one after breakfast, one after lunch, one after dinner. I quit smoking, by the way, after the military, pretty cold turkey as well. Well, I went to vaping for a while, and that had a hold of me for a while, but I was able to eliminate it by this same practice. Cut something out, regulate it, take control of yourself. Ask yourself, are you in control of this, or is it controlling you? And if you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that there's a lot that is controlling you. And maybe you like that. Oh, I don't care. I like it to control me because it's what I enjoy, and that's how I function, and it's how I feel nostalgic. And I'm just going to lean into this. But eventually, especially if it's hurting folks around you or your health or your mental toughness, you're going to make bad decisions in that way. So it's like almost predict what someone's going to do when there's hardships. They're not going to be able to pass the test. They're not in control of themselves. Let that sink in. That should bother you. You wake up and realize that there's things in your life you're not in control of. But the same way, I'm not in control of my heart beating right now. I'm not in control of my liver function. There is things that are out of my control, but I'm like a computer. My brain is like a computer, and it runs programs. Imagine if you took your computer and just uploaded anything and everything and filled it up. You're going to have such clutter. You're going to have things running slow. You're not going to be running optimally, and you're going to corrupt your system. And even though you can control your mouse and you can control a few things on the computer, you think you're in control. No, our bodies and our brains are the same way. We are hardwired. We have a hard drive. We need to feed ourselves positivity. We need to feed ourselves with the good measures that we can take for optimal health and optimal mental health. And I'm telling you, one that is lacking today, one that you will get so far ahead of everyone around you. It's not a competition, but it should be a competition with yourself. It starts with yourself. Some discipline repetitions that you try might last longer than 30 days. For example, New Year's Eve of last year, I decided to give up alcohol, and I really was going to run it for like 30 days. Hey, alcohol free 30 days. Well, 30 days came and I said, I feel incredible. I don't have a brain fog. I don't feel poison the next day. I feel just clear-headed and lighter and better. I feel like my body is functioning better. My sleep is better. Everything is better. So I decided to, I'm going to do another 30 days and another 30. And at the time of this video, I haven't had any alcohol this year. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with alcohol other than it's an absolute poison, and I have no desire to go back. Some things you can't see the benefit from until they're removed out of your life. Until you get those things off the table, you can't see past them. It's just, oh, I enjoy this. Oh, this isn't affecting me, but you don't know how it's affecting you because you're not off of it. It's in your system. So if you're able to delete those things, and look, if you say to yourself, oh, well, I can never do that. That would be too hard to cut out sugar for 30 days or alcohol for 30 days or no soda, no Diet Coke, whatever your vice is. If you thought to yourself, I couldn't do that. Or if you thought to yourself, oh, I could do that, but I don't want to. I enjoy those things too much. Wherever you are in that spectrum, you should take it as a challenge. Yeah, maybe you could do it if you really wanted to. Well, do it. Take action. Cut something that you know, and you won't have to think very hard. We can all sit down and say, what could I cut out of my life that would make my life better, that would make the life of those around me, maybe my family, a little bit better? And I promise you'll find something. If you're able to identify that quickly and you're able to cut it out completely, it will give you the strength and the mental strength to accomplish more. It has a snowball effect. Once you're able to cut something out for 30 days, then, even if you introduce it back into your life, you say, I'm going to cut sugar out for 30 days. You cut the sugar out for 30 days. You feel amazing. You get healthier. You feel more vibrant. Your smell, your colors, your sleep, everything is better. Maybe like me, and you have weight loss goals, and so you're able to lose some weight. 30 days in, you decide, hey, that was great. I'm going to reintroduce some fruit. That fruit is going to taste better than it ever has before because there was a period of abstinence. There's a period of putting it down, cutting it off. And it's also important that no one is perfect. And if you do break it, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you don't possess discipline. It doesn't mean anything other than you know where you're at. You know where you need to apply work. My philosophy is to paint those things red in your life that need to be eliminated. And the first step of doing that is identifying them. If we identify them when they happen, it doesn't mean we beat ourselves up and say, oh, you failure, you had a donut, you're supposed to be abstaining from sugar for 30 days. No, it just says, oh, okay, wow, this has a hold on me. I need to work on this. And when the next donut is offered, you might take another moment of thought and say, nope, not this time. This time I'm going to beat this thing. And you're going to feel so good when you do. Again, that might take 2 or 3 times. But when you get to the end of 30 days, and even if you reintroduce it back into your life, you get to a place where someone offers you a donut and you say, oh, I'm going to take half and I'm going to enjoy half. And man, I'm going to enjoy it. But then I'm going to go back to my day. Or you refuse it because you have the mental strength. You're like, oh no, I've done this for 30 days. Somebody just got fresh donuts. I don't have to have one. I have some mental control. But today, we're lacking in that. It takes discipline to get out of bed in the morning and not to hit the snooze button. It takes discipline to get into a cold shower. It takes discipline to stay faithful with your children, your wife, your pet, to walk your pet, in your nutrition, in your work, in your love life. It all takes discipline. Abstaining from anything can cause you to appreciate it more. I think one of the greatest forms of discipline that I've ever practiced was with my wife, Mary. So we met literally 2 months after I went into the Marine Corps, and our families had known each other, but we started talking, and I asked her father if I might write her and talk to her while I was in the Marine Corps. And that presented challenges of long distance, and immediately go into this 4-year discipline trial. And also the ultimate challenge that we waited for each other. We were not going to have any physical relationship before we were married. And that's super old. You might think that that's super old fashioned, and you might think that that's done away with, and where's the benefit, and why would we do that to ourselves? But let me tell you, I don't care where you stand religiously. We're both Christians, but I don't care where you stand religiously. It has its benefits. And to take the physical side off the table and just get to know from a distance that person, and you just get to know them and bond with them and have faith with them, someone that you would love to marry and have a family, just discovering who you are. Now, yes, we put our best foot forward. Yes, we didn't learn things and everything until we got married and until we had that physical relationship, but it was that prolonging still has us in the honeymoon phase 8 years later, just saying. And what's funny is a lot of people made fun of me in the Marine Corps, as you can imagine. All of my buddies from my platoon were just laughing at me, thinking, how lame I was, that, oh, she was back home, not waiting on me. Hi, I'm Jody. But if you knew the caliber of woman that my wife is, she is a Proverbs 31:10 woman. She is a virtuous woman. And it was an absolute honor, because I had messed up. I had wanted to do this in other relationships and I had failed. But I was determined this time that I was going to be a man of her worth. And if I could get through this, if we could get through this, we knew we could get through anything together. 4 years, 2 deployments, a lot of uncertainty, long distance relationship. But man, when I came home on leave, it was incredible. I was on a ship for 9 months on my first deployment, and coming home and being with her after being on a ship with guys for 9 months, holding her in my arms and not taking it to a physical level, that was super challenging. It was very difficult, to say the least. But I'm going to tell you right now, it was worth it to stand there on our wedding day and to see her walk down the aisle. And we had a lot of tests and trials to face after that. I got out of the Marine Corps in July of 2015, and literally 1 month later in August, I had a lump on my forehead that the doctors had no idea what it was. We were set to be married in September, so this was literally like 3 weeks before our wedding, our 4-year prolonged waiting for one another, burning love and desire to be one and to be with each other. And I had a lump that was growing and giving me horrible headaches. The onset of this pain and these headaches really started in the first week of August of 2015, but stubborn as I am, I fought off going to the doctor until the 25th of August, when I finally had enough. I couldn't take the headaches anymore. They were constant, they were throbbing. And at this point I had like a half a golf ball size protrusion sticking out of my forehead, right under my hairline. I went to the Tampa VA and they did not know what it was. They started running tests. A lot of doctors and even the medical students came in and started taking pictures. They started doing tests, and then finally this really nervous doctor came in hours later, and he was shaking and sweating. He was more nervous than we were, but he said, we can't rule out a malignancy. He said there was a possibility that it could be a brain tumor. It could be cancer growing on my skull. This was a couple weeks from when we were supposed to get married, when I was supposed to marry the love of my life. We had waited for each other for 4 years, and I'm sitting here in this hospital bed and might have cancer growing on my brain. I can't tell you how difficult that was. That was probably the hardest moment of my life. It was much harder than anything that the Marine Corps had to offer. It was harder than any challenge I had ever experienced, because it was more than just me. And we're 1 month away from getting married and living our dreams. It did turn out to be a rare cancer-like disease called Langerhans cell histiocytosis.
Langerhans cells histiocytosis.
Yeah, LCH for short. But anyways, right here, see that scar on my forehead? It was like this nod right on my forehead.
Which is incredibly rare, and it had spread from my forehead as a bone lesion on eating away at my skull to my liver and my spleen. Thankfully, after a year of chemo, it went away, and I'll tell that story. Mary and I will be telling that story more in depth in another video. But as hard as those times were, we found comfort in our faith. We found comfort in one another. And I just kept looking at her and said, hey, we've waited for each other for 4 years. We have done this. We've done this so far. And I think that the Lord is preparing us for a very big challenge. I always have a challenging life, a big life. And it's going to come at a cost. We're going to have faith. We're going to have to believe. We're going to have to fight. And we're going to have to accept whatever happens is God's will. And we're going to have to push forward. But I promise you, until my dying breath, that I will fight this, and I will fight with you and for you. So we ended up getting married, and man, let me tell you, it's all been worth it. We later faced cancer again, and I contribute being able to get through those things and every other challenge in my life to discipline, to hard work, a little path, a hard path, a difficult path. It's not a broad path, a path that most people will never find. They'll never find the benefits. But imagine if you could find it. You don't have to go to Marine Corps boot camp. You don't have to have cancer. And if you've messed things up in your life, it's okay to start now. If you could find little things to practice eliminating or practice adding to your life, and you saw the benefits of that and you replicated them, and that spilled over into other areas, your finances, to your love life, to, if you're a parent, how you treat your kids. And I want this channel to be more than just self-help. I want it to be a discussion. I want you guys to comment below topics that you're dealing with, ways that you're dealing with things, and I'll be able to hopefully give you a different perspective. I feel like God has given me the gift of perspective to help others. That's what I want to do with my life. That is ultimately what I want to do, and it starts with you, and it starts right here. So if you have any comments, please comment below. If you are a fan of discipline, if you're practicing discipline, let me know what you're doing. I'm very blessed that I have been given this gift, and I found this gift, and I've identified this gift. And I challenge you to work on discipline in your life. Find a way, start slow, but find a way to work on discipline, and the results will blow your mind. And I want to bring you along in this journey with me. So if you enjoyed it, if you do me a favor and clean up the like button by giving it a like, I really, really appreciate this. Share this information, get this out there. I think that we would have a better world if people were more disciplined, if they took the time to really pay attention to the little things and they worked hard on them. They would do better, and it would be a better world. And you can do your part. Find little ways, man. You can find things to do. You can always find a way to improve just by a little bit, and look at the big picture, look at the overall goal, and lean into it. Lean into discipline, and I promise you will not regret it. I have so much to tell. I have so much perspective on life that I really want to share with you guys, and I'm looking forward to it. Please stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.